Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Today we're talking about Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr. Recently, Steve Kerr came out with some comments stating that Stephen Curry was injured throughout the entire NBA playoffs, and he did what he could, but at the end of the day, you know, it just wasn't enough to get the Warriors to the promised land and go back to back as champions. But I was watching First Take, and they were saying, is Steve Kerr making excuses for Stephen Curry? And my answer to that is no. Nobody can make excuses for Stephen Curry. There's a reason why he didn't play well in the NBA Finals. That's because he wasn't feeling well. Like his knee had bothered him since the Houston series. And man, he played in the Portland series that last game to close him out, but he was never 100%. And that is why I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the NBA Finals. Even though the Warriors were up 3-1, and I felt like my pick was going to be wrong, I knew that Curry wasn't going to have good games. He had a couple of flashes, like Game 4, he had like 38 points. Against Oklahoma City, that Game 6, he had like 30-something points when Clay put in like 45. He could play like in flashes, but you got to understand this. When somebody has a knee injury, they're not going to be 100%. So when everybody went to the NBA Finals thinking that he's going to razzle-dazzle just because he's playing, a lot of people say when you're playing, you can't say you're injured. But that's not the truth. Sometimes you're just playing through injury. So he was playing through it. He was playing hurt, and he wasn't 100%. That's why he didn't play well. You could say that Kyrie Irving cooked him or whatever. He did give Curry the business offensively. He was going at him. But the thing is, you got to understand this. If you're already injured, how much defense are you going to be able to play? Like, and vice versa. Think about this. Let's just say Kyrie Irving wasn't healthy and he had to go up against a healthy Curry. You don't think Curry would be cooking him up like that? Of course he would. You know what I'm saying? It's like LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. When they play against each other, they go at each other. And if one of them is hurt, like that's like a double advantage. You see what I'm saying? It's like two race cars that are like a McLaren F1 and maybe like a Bugatti or whatever. They both speed at the same they go at the same speeds. But if one car has like a carburetor that's a little messed up, I mean, that's going to give the edge to the other vehicle. And that's what happened in the NBA Finals. Like, Kyrie Irving, he came up, he showed up, he played 100%. Stephen Curry walked into the NBA Finals not 100%, coming back from a 3-1 deficit. And Steve Kerr was just plainly stating, which people like that have basketball sense, they understand this. If you're not healthy, you're not going to do all the things that you normally do. But everybody, for some reason, keeps saying that he's the MVP. He should have played better. He should have did this. Injuries don't make you throw the ball behind your back. Injuries don't make you turn over the ball. Well, injuries that are nagging, they don't. Guess what else they do? They don't let you run at the same speed. They don't let you shoot the same way. They don't let you move the same way. When you don't move the same way, your brain reacts differently. Your brain says, okay, I can't do this no more. Let me slow this down. Let me try to do this. Let me try to impact the game this way. Let me try to do this that way. And that might not be the normal thing, because basketball players, when they practice and play, it's based off instinct. It's not off thinking. When you get hurt, you begin to think, I can't do this. I got to slow down this. I got to do this. Even you got to ask yourself this when you go on the court. When you get hurt, when you get a cut or a scrape, you keep looking at the cut. You keep looking at the cut. You know, you're bleeding. People are telling you, oh, you're bleeding. You're conscious. So Steph Curry was self-conscious in the NBA Finals, and that's why he didn't have his spectacular 30-point average that he averaged in the regular season. He wasn't 100%, and that's not an excuse. It's just the reason why he didn't play well. You know, it's not an excuse as to why he had so many turnovers or his defense wasn't 100%. I mean, you can't play defense 100% if your knee's bothering you. Basketball's about moving on your legs, on your knees. It's like common sense, but people don't understand it. It's just like last year when LeBron James was up 2-1. Even though, to me, like whenever you're up, you should always win in a series. You should always win. There shouldn't be no comebacks. Like when he was up 2-1, everybody bigged him up. It was like LeBron's this, LeBron's that, LeBron's the best, he's amazing. If he beats the Warriors, it looks like he's gonna beat the Warriors without Kyrie and Kevin Love. Everybody's giving props because you got to remember they were up 2-1, and the fourth game was in Cleveland, so they could have went up 3-1. They could have been this year in reverse the year before last, but he didn't do it. And then everybody after that, they were like, well, if Kyrie and Love were there, it would be a different story. Then they run it back, and guess what? They were there, and they were down 3-1. So when they were up 3-1, it was like people talked about Stephen Curry and his poor play, but it wasn't a big deal because they're up 3-1. But then when they epic collapse, everybody wants to blame Curry, like, oh, he didn't have the MVP season. Oh, if only he did this. If only he did that. Oh, the Game 7 behind the back pass. That one behind the back pass didn't lose them the series. What lost them the series was this: injuries. Curry came in injured. Bogut got injured. Andre Iguodala injured his back. Okay, they had 3 injured players out of the blue. Draymond Green gets suspended. Boom. That Cleveland gets to steal a game in Oakland. See what I'm saying? These are the small things that people don't want to talk about. They just want to talk about one player and say, well, he should have did this, he should have did that. When basketball is a team sport. See what I'm saying? Like, Steve Kerr didn't give Curry an out. Trust and believe that. Because Steve Kerr is the first guy to challenge Curry or Thompson and say, like, hey, you guys think you're so great, but guess what? I played on this Bulls team. Not only did we go 72-10, we won a championship. Okay, you think you're really good, you're a great shooter, but guess what? I played against Isaiah Thomas. He could defend, he could do this. The old school guys aren't going to give anybody a pass, ladies and gentlemen. They're not doing that crap. They're not giving anybody a pass. You know what they'll say? They'll say, well, this is a different generation. I can't really speak on it. But in terms of him giving them an out, he didn't give them an out. He just stated a reason why he felt like they lost. In reality, the reason they lost is due to injuries and the simple fact that as a collective team, they choked. It's a team sport. I know Curry wasn't 100%, but all they needed to do was win one more game, and they were unable to do it. They could have had anybody off the bench step up. The bench was quiet the last 3 games of the series, quiet as a mouse. Curry didn't play well. Draymond Green missed a game when he came back. Then when they went back to Cleveland, he played like crap. Okay, Game 6. You think they're going to be able to... Game 7, you think they'll be able to close them out. Klay Thompson comes out hot. Draymond Green scores 30 points. Second half, nobody else on the Warriors could score. I mean, if they just got like 10 points from Livingston, 5 points from Barbosa, maybe 4 points from Spades, nobody else could score. This is not a Curry thing. This is not a Curry didn't show us his best. He's hurt. He's not going to play his best. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, when you're injured, you're not going to play your best. Okay? Let's just get that in our heads and calm down. See what I'm saying? He was injured. I agree he should have played better. He should have tried to do something better. Maybe less flashy passes. But if somebody is just as good as you at something and you have a slight disadvantage to them and they're just as equivalent, like how Curry and Irving are handles. Shooting, Curry's better at shooting, but Irving's right there. If you're about even, any little drop off on your part is gonna leave you dead in the water, point blank period. So for everybody to say that they're giving Stephen Curry excuses and they're making outs for him, that's not the case. It's not the case. He's just stating a reason. And I think like what you guys don't understand is this, because they're saying that Stephen Curry is he takes himself out of the all-time great category. He does this, he does that. How? Let's look at his career real quick. He sets a record for threes, breaks his own record the following year. He's already won a championship. He's already went 73-9. His career right now, just only thing that's happened to him awful in his career right now are the ankle injuries earlier, and then now they lost the championship. He's gonna get back to the NBA championship, I want to say at least 3 more times. He has 3 more times, 3 more cracks at it. So our whole talk about how he's no good or people are giving excuses if this was LeBron, you can't compare a point guard to a small forward. It doesn't work like that. You see what I'm saying? They have different responsibilities. You can't compare a LeBron James to a Stephen Curry. Like LeBron James has more years. And another thing, LeBron James came in like a hot commodity. They were already projecting him to be this immense, great player. Stephen Curry came in, he was passed up by 7 teams. So for him to be where he's at in his career is remarkable. And for people to be poking and prodding at him, it's only going to do what I told you guys it was going to do. Because last year I told you guys, everybody's saying how they were lucky, and I told you it wasn't luck. It was just inevitable for them to win. They were the better team. Now this past season, he gets hurt, they lose the championship. All right, boom. Now it's like, okay, LeBron got lucky because, Warriors got lucky because so-and-so this. Now this championship the Cleveland won, they're saying that Curry was 100%. Or, this, that, and the third. Now, you're only setting the stage for a Revenge of the Nerds scene. Like, everybody sees Revenge of the Nerds. Everybody's picking on the nerds. Like, they let them get up a little bit, then they're back to picking on them again. The Warriors are a basketball version of Revenge of the Nerds. And they're going to show us this upcoming season with Durant how good they could really be. I'm not saying they're going to win 73 or whatever, but you know what I really expect from them? I expect them to go into NBA playoffs and sweep through like 2-3 teams. Like just the way that Cleveland dominated. But the reason we all know Cleveland dominated was because the East has mediocre. That last season it was mediocre competition. But I expect the Warriors to go in even against elite competition and just dominate them in the playoffs. Just for the simple fact that all of this talk occurred this year. You're going to get a healthy Curry. Hopefully he doesn't get injured again. And with a healthy Curry and Durant and then Klay Thompson, I mean, without Durant, period, they were good when he was healthy. They were awesome when they were healthy. And even when he was not healthy, they were up 3-1. So let's not give this talk about he was the reason they lost the NBA Finals, yada, yada, yada. Because when they were up 3-1, nobody cared. Everybody said, like, oh, he's not playing well, but they're so good, they're figuring it out. Oh, we won't worry about it. Right now, he's not our MVP. This guy's MVP. So nobody was worried about it. As soon as they lost, everybody wanted to change their tune. He wasn't the reason why they lost. He consistently couldn't play the way that he normally played. And they were up 3-1. The reason they lost is because they couldn't get those contributions they got during the regular season from anybody else. From anybody else. Draymond Green screwed him, and when he came back, he played like crap. And then the Game 7, he scored 30 points, but it just wasn't enough. And Klay Thompson didn't step up. He couldn't step up because they were, sometimes when his shot isn't going in. But now they got this new guy, Durant. His shot doesn't go in. He's getting to the line. He doesn't get to the line. He's making plays. So this is just bad. Like, I don't think people understand what they're doing. What they're doing, like when people are like bad mouthing a great player, just like the way they bad mouth LeBron, like, oh, he's not this, he's gonna lose another championship. It's just motivation. And when you give those guys motivation, forget the intrinsic motivation that they have. Extrinsic motivation, forget it. Like any outside factor, they like write it on their wall. They play it in their headphones. Like, a lot of times you see these guys, they're like in a zone because they're thinking about something that Stephen A. Smith said last week, and they had it written down. They even write it on their shoes. Oh, he can't do this. He can't. And guess what? You know what they do? They come back even better, and even like 100, even better, 100 more %, and the team is just gonna look even 10 times better. So they just retool to F everybody up. So next season, I said tomorrow, next season, when this is all said and done, don't say I didn't warn you. This is like Revenge of the Nerds, ladies and gentlemen. And guess who are the jocks? It's not the Warriors. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction with Hoops meets Hoopla. Peace.